Thank you. And thanks, Jeff.
Yes, yeah.
Well, all you brave souls made it, didn't you? So good morning and flowing in grace, excuse me, faith. I don't know about you, but my life, except for the last few years, hasn't been very flowing at all. It's been a bunch of bumps and left turns and right turns, so I think part of it might have been my lack of grace, or excuse me, faith. And I always believed in God, trusted God, but how much, especially when times are tough. So things that often test your faith are stuff like reaping consequences of your own design, whatever that might be, because maybe you just didn't know any better and then whack, they got you. What's going on? The other is accidents of time and faith, or time and space. Somebody pulls up in front of you and you whack them with your car. That is definitely qualifies as an accident. And sometimes there's not much you can do about that. And you wonder what in the heck is going on. Then of course, there's interactions with people who don't have a very good communication with that divine spirit within, and they're, for better lack of a better term, they're just jerks. That's it, that's all the humor. Oh, I did hear a good one this morning. My dear wife. You know it's cold when teenage boys pull up their pants. Is that good or what? Yep. Okay. So I think it's really important as you live your life to try to figure out what's important and what you need to take care of and other things. Just a good example of that was last week. I had a student text me. Hardly anyone calls it anymore, do they? They all just hit that little microphone and talk away. So he texted me that he had just been in his second car accident and he was truly sorry he couldn't make his banjo lesson. And I didn't tell him this, of course, but it's just a banjo lesson. Don't worry about it. It'll happen again. Just take care of business. But those are the kinds of things that we often put too much emphasis on, too much worry about. When in fact, it's just a banjo lesson. Just get over it and take care of business. Other things that are more important. The complete and sublime, wholehearted certainty of God's watch, care, and guidance. Watch, care, and guidance. That sounds like pretty important things. And those are the things that God does for you. Besides, believe it or not, that spark of divine that indwells everyone, and free will. You have free will to make a choice. You make a choice whether to follow God's plan or not. And that still presupposes that you're going to experience life's ups and downs, the ordinary ups and downs of things happening in your life. But it was snowing today, so we had to drive slow. The good news is we drove slow and just enjoyed the scenery. Isn't it beautiful? Just great. So your faith grows pretty much in proportion to how much communication that spark of divine can give to you. You know, we're a mortal in a temporal environment here, and spark of divine is from universal God. There's just a little bit of discrepancy there between one and the other. So it's a little difficult for the spark of divine to communicate to you when you're here on earth, worried about, I'm gonna set this bill aside and wait a week or two. They probably won't turn off anything. Those are all temporal things that we have to think about instead of more spiritual aspects. That's why I particularly like meditation, because at last it quiets you down and allows you to think. And if you're done it for a while, you can leave your mind somewhat blank and not full of thoughts. And then hopefully that spark of divine can say, pay attention. Yeah. Yeah. Communication, or at least an occasional spurt of universal energy that comes from the spark of divine, doesn't preclude having a joyous and happy life. In fact, I would go to say it allows you to take the experiences that you know, the ordinary life's up and downs, and understand them better and accept them better. Because in this temporal world, chances are they're not going to go away. So you might as well learn to accept them and deal with them. Sometimes it just happens on its own. So flowing with faith, that is living your life and growing in faith. keeping and developing your faith in your life. That's really important. Your mind, the gift of God, so that you actually can make a choice whether to do God's will or not. It's kind of a bleak situation if you don't choose God's will. What's left after death? Nothing. I like the phrase personality reconstruction. I think that's pretty neat because, your personality is unique in the whole universe. There's nothing like you at all. Good news and bad news. So the good news is that you have the choice to do God's will. And by having that choice, you will grow more and more in faith. Okay, so salvation is the gift of the Father and is revealed by the Son's acceptance by faith on your part makes you a partaker of the divine nature, a son or daughter of God. By faith, you are justified. By faith, you are saved. And by this faith, you are advanced in the way of progressing and divine perfection. So it seems like faith is pretty important according to that particular part. Jesus laid great emphasis upon what he called the two truths. Thank you. I was told to stay close. The two truths of first import in the teachings of the kingdom, and they are the attainment of salvation by faith. There's that faith again. And faith alone associated with the revolutionary teaching of the attainment of human liberty throughout the sincere recognition of truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Sound familiar? Jesus was the truth made manifest in the flesh, and he promised to send his spirit of truth into the hearts of all of his children after his return to the Father in heaven. That was at Pentecost. I'm sure you all knew that even before I said it. I had to enlarge the readings from the book. Okay. John asked Jesus, Master, what is the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus answered, the kingdom of heaven consists of these essentials. First, recognition of the fact of the sovereignty of God. Second, belief in the truth of sonship, the children of God, with God. And third, faith in the effectiveness of the supreme human desire to do the will of God, to be like God. And this is the good news of the gospel, that by faith, every mortal may have an essentials of salvation. So, one part of this I always thought was good. It's all good, but in the effectiveness of supreme human desire to do the will of God. So if you're really, really about doing the will of God, it'll be effective. Thank goodness. Because sometimes it seems but a struggle. Okay, as some of you might know or recognize, a lot of these things were out of the Urantia book, and I've been reading it for about 50 years. And somehow I skipped over that last paper in the book that talks about the faith of Jesus. So I took a paragraph out of maybe the 5 or 6 pages. That was a little too long to read, but I think since Jesus is our way shower, it would be a good idea to get a little more into a description of his faith. Jesus did not cling to faith in God as would a struggling soul at war with the universe and death grips with a hostile and sinful world. He did not rest. He did not rest to faith merely as consolation in the midst of difficulties or as a comfort to the threatened despair. Been there a time or two. Faith was not just an illusionary compensation for pleasant realities and sorrows of living. In the very face of all natural difficulties and the temporal contradictions of mortal existence, he experienced the tranquility and supreme, unquestioned trust in God, and felt the same doubts, the same thrill of living by faith in the very presence of the Heavenly Father. A triumphant faith was a living experience of actual spirit attainment. Jesus' greatest contribution to the values of human experience was not that he revealed so many new ideas about the Father in heaven, but rather that he so magnificently and humanly demonstrated a new and higher type of living faith in God. Never on all the worlds of this universe, in the life of any one mortal, did Jesus ever become such a living reality as in the human experience of Jesus of Nazareth. Any questions about faith? So apparently, according to my study, that's the bottom line for salvation, faith in God. So we'll do a brief meditation and then sing our song. I'd like to read the Our Father as it supposedly was given by Jesus. This one is in English, it's not in Aramaic. Thank goodness. It's real similar to what we have now, but a little different than the one that Susan Gum gave a couple of Sundays ago. So if you'll just sit quietly, feet on the floor, take a couple of deep breaths and smell that good food downstairs. Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our bread for tomorrow. Refresh our souls with the water of life, and forgive us every one of our debts, as we have forgiven our debtors. Save us in temptation, deliver us from evil, and increasingly make us perfect like yourself. So we'll just take a couple of minutes and just relax. Thank you, Jeff, for the beautiful music. That's really nice. Okay, let's stand in the side of our prayer of protection. And we've been helping with this.
The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God beholds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. We are the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We are well.